Most people nowadays, when I mention the 7 wonders of the world, gobble up the Colosseum, Stonehenge, the Eiffel Tower, and whatnot. If you are one of those people, you are stupid. First of all, the Eiffel Tower and the Stonehenge aren't even world wonders, with the Eiffel Tower never being one ever. And about the Colosseum, sure, on paper it is a world wonder along those other 6. But can we really agree on that? Do you want to know how those structures became world wonders? Through an online poll. In 2001, some random Swedes decided that the common people, and not governments, should vote on which monument should be praised as a world wonder. Sure, that's a noble cause, but what those noble Swedes forgot are 2 factors: money and nationalism. Do you think countries are just gonna sit there and allow their beautiful monument to not be a money generator? Of course not. They massively tried, and possibly succeeded, to rig their monument onto the list that assures a major influx of tourism. Seriously? Why did the Colosseum end up on the list, but the Great Pyramid of Giza did not? It's the only remaining ancient world wonder that remains standing to this day. Hey, you know what? Why don't I show you what the real wonders of the world were, huh? And I got just the tool for it. Ta-da! You ready? Let's do it! And here we are. Welcome to Jurassic Park. No, wait. Welcome to Egypt. I decided we might as well start with the oldest world wonder and slowly work our way towards the latest ones, so yeah. Here we are. The Great Pyramid of Giza. Yep, your eyes are not mistaken. It's white. If you would visit the pyramid in the current day and age, it would be more like this instead, where the top is slightly missing and it's all considerably more dusty. How that all happened, we'll get to later, because we should first cover why this 146 meters tall behemoth was made in the first place, and what is actually inside of it. The Great Pyramid was made to be more than just a demonstration of the wealth and the power that the pharaoh had. Its true purpose was actually to be an insanely fortified tomb. The ancient Egyptians believed that the pharaohs were deities on earth, and that in the afterlife they would ascend to join the Egyptian gods. To ensure a safe passageway to the heavenly realm, it was crucial that the pharaohs were left undisturbed after their passing. So, naturally, the only logical thing left for the Egyptians to do was to carve out and hold 2.3 million blocks of stone weighing a total of 5.7 million tons, or roughly 600 Eiffel Towers from Giza and its surroundings, to the pyramid's location to build an impenetrable fortress for the king to lay in. And so they did. The massive undertaking took only a short 20 years, which they managed to crunch down to due to the use of skilled workers and hired labor forces. Yep, you heard that right. The pyramids were not just simply made by slaves. It actually was a huge collaboration from the Egyptians altogether. Unfortunately, Pharaoh Khufu died before he could see his tomb finished, but the good old chaps the Egyptians were, they kept their promise and lay him in there anyway. Where did they put him inside? Here, in this hollowed out granite slab. Yep, that is the grave of the almighty pharaoh that had this entire pyramid built. It's almost like they ran out of budget and were like, meh, just throw him in there and close the chamber up. Which they did, by the way, by letting 3 huge blocks slide down this entire shaft to conceal the true path to the king's chamber. The other path, which just goes down and down, leads to a seemingly random chamber with another corridor after and below it that are both just dead ends? Strange. Speaking of strange, below the king's chamber is the queen's chamber, which never had something inside of it. Why was it built then? No one really knows. The most popular theory about the purpose of this chamber is that it used to house a life-size statue of the king himself. However, there are almost no claims to back that up. And speaking of even more strange, the clever ones among you might have wondered what those long tubes are for. Well, they were apparently for air ventilation. You can see them leave the king's chamber all the way to the outside here and on the opposite side there. But if their purpose is to ventilate air, then what are those two coming from the queen's chamber for? They don't even get close to the outside of the pyramid. Is it really just randomly made, like the entire underground section of the pyramid? Or are there untold secrets that we are yet to discover about this ancient structure? We don't know. I mean, we could ask the head architect over there, but we all know the #1 rule of time traveling is that we shouldn't change or interact with anything from the past. So I'm afraid we'll have to wait till someone smarter figures it out for us. What we don't have to figure out is what happened to the pyramid. Throughout the, once again, 4,500 years it stood proud, it has been hit by many earthquakes, lootings and empires, which caused the pyramid to slowly but surely change to the dusty pile of impressive Lego blocks it is today. When the modern archaeologists opened up the tomb for the first time, both the pharaoh's mummy and his immense wealth were already stolen. Bollocks. But yeah, as you can see, there is a lot of mystery shrouding the Great Pyramid of Giza. Some even claim that the pyramid was actually an old-school electricity generator, where hydrogen gas was used to somehow generate electricity that then was wirelessly transmitted by obelisks across Egypt or something? If that is true, I guess there is only one logical explanation. Aliens! Nah, I'm just kidding here, you little historian. Wireless electricity transportation and the pyramids being glorified power generators is obviously just foolish conspiracy talk. Well then, on to the second wonder. After you. The beautiful Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Built in the year 600 before Christ, it was often described as the Green Mountain within the heart of Babylon, which was an ancient city in what is nowadays Iraq. The garden hosted hundreds of different plants, trees and flowers, which it managed to do so by utilizing a surprisingly modern and effective water irrigation system. Water would be taken up to the top level by an early version of Archimedes' screw flow, where then the water would flow from the upper levels down past the beautiful greeneries all the way to the bottom, effectively watering the entire pyramid-like garden in one fell swoop. For the year 600 before Christ, that's some impressive engineering. Shame it might not be real though. What? Oh, did I forget to mention that this all might have never existed? Yeah, there is no archaeological evidence that the Hanging Gardens of Babylon ever stood here in Babylon. The only quote-unquote evidence we have of the place are scrolls and documents from the ancient Greek historians who wrote about it. Supposedly the ancient king Nebuchadnezzar II, which is a real name, yes, ordered for the gardens to be built because his wife, who was from a faraway region, got extremely homesick and missed the beautiful greeneries her birthplace was known for. So to help his queen get over her homesickness, the king ordered for the garden to be built so his wife would never miss the beautiful Fiora her own country had to offer. Ah, doesn't that sound like a piece straight from Shakespeare? Well, maybe it is. The past dozen years, archaeologists have looked far and wide through the ruins of Old Babylon. Yet they can't find anything close to what is described by the ancient historians. And that is why, if we want to be historically accurate, there is absolutely nothing to see here, as no one even knows what the gardens actually look like. Yeah. Enough void seeing. On to the Temple of Artemis. Okay, this is technically correct, but it's not the Temple of Artemis. It's more like a predecessor that was much simpler and, well, uglier. The reason why I brought us to this version is because there were actually 3 installments of the temple that existed, with the final third one being the one praised as an ancient world wonder. The first temple was made around the start of the Bronze Age as a place to worship the Greek goddess Artemis, who represented nature and fertility. Which was kind of important for the people cause, you know, it's 1200 BC. But unfortunately either the temple wasn't impressive enough or the farmers had bad luck, because around the year 700 BC, a huge flood destroyed the exclusive temple and all the farmers' land around it. The surviving farmers concluded that this all happened because they didn't worship the goddess hard enough. So they decided that they had to build a bigger, better temple than before to gain the blessings from the goddess yet again. Unfortunately, big things cost big money. So it all took a small 150 years to get the construction of the improved temple started and yet another 120 years to finish it. But hey, at last it was built and stood proud for the farmers to enjoy and worship at. Though not for long. Because of this bumhole, who I can't say the name of because I would be publicly executed for it. This man was obsessed with fame. You could say he was the first TikToker. And just like all the others, he was really annoying. In the dead of night, the man whose name I once again can't say, snuck into the Temple of Artemis and started a fire that caused the entire temple to catch ablaze and ultimately burn down to the ground. Why did he do this? Because he wanted eternal fame, and as much as I hate to admit it, I guess he succeeded, because we still talk about him to this day. Unfortunately for him though, he also succeeded in getting his head cut off. So yeah, here we are again with another destroyed temple and plenty of frustrated people who can't worship their goddess anymore. Guess we will build it again, am I right folks? And so did it. This time, even bigger, even better than the already good one, with beautiful statues hosted inside, which brought in people from far and wide, like the Apostle John, who exorcised demons there, according to the Bible. This time, the temple actually stood for a bit longer. About 800 years in fact. Like all good things though, it had to come to an end. First in 268 AD, it got set ablaze by the Goths, because no reason actually. They just wanted to cause rampage throughout the Roman Empire like they always did. And for the final blow, in the year 408, a huge Christian mob came to wreck the place down because the emperor decided it was time to forcefully convert everyone to Christianity. It's almost sad. But hey, at least they recycled the wreckage to build the Hagia Sophia. Nowadays the ruins of the temple can still be visited in Turkey, where you can also visit the secret final 4th version of the temple. And I'll tell you what man, their shawarma is so good. Oh, alright, let's go.